Be patient. How many times do I have to tell you? We do not start the show until the guests arrive. Every night, I got to tell you the same thing. You're like, start the show, start the show, start the show. No, it don't work that way. When a guest arrives, we start the show. How many times do we have to go over this? New format. Now, if it gets to be like 7:05, then I end up talking to you. Got it? But see, I don't have to talk to you. We have a guest. Now it's time to start the show. Every night I gotta tell you this. From the WDWL TV multiplex, live from Grumpy's empty staff office, with great anticipation, we bring you the pride of the station, the grumpy old man, me, and the grumpy disco vulture who has to be in the spotlight. Take your bow, idiot. Now, straight, look at the camera when you bow. Come on. Oh, jeez. Go back in your corner, mister. I need a spotlight. Look at the camera. Oh, jeez. Greetings, friends. Kathy's here. Look. Oh, I hate this camera. No sound bar. No audio. Why is that not working? Every time I made a little adjustment, I didn't even touch the audio bar. I just readjusted the clock and readjusted the guest counter and no audio bar. Not that it's important, but Jesus. I didn't even touch it. It works all the time. Now all of a sudden, it ain't working. Well, like I say, it's no big deal, but I like everything to work. I mean, all it is a bunch of bouncing bars. But it would be nice if everything worked. Maybe I've got the guest counter too close. I don't know. I'll figure it out. At least everything else is working. You know, the important thing here, the clock and the guest counter. The audio bar, sometimes it's just a distraction. Look who's here! All right. I figured out Discord. Starting tomorrow, I'll be using it. I discovered it's really a private chat room. I don't know why I thought it was so difficult. Here I've had Discord for almost a year, had no idea what it was. Now I know. We don't have to communicate with email anymore. Makes it a lot easier. A year. I've had it a year. No idea. And I started to play with it today, and I was like, oh, easy. Now, if I could just figure out how to use streaming software, the computer. Now, no, mate. First of all, like Kathy noticed, the sound bar isn't working. The audio, which is no big deal. It's nothing more than a bunch of jumping bars. I get a fourth computer all set because I want to download EvMux or whatever the hell that is and kind of play with it because I don't want to put it on this computer until I'm ready. I hit the on button, I get the blue screen of death. The computer was working fine the last time I used it because I was using it to watch the Eagles down in Georgia. Today, it boots up. Next thing I know, oh! So I'll figure that mess out tomorrow. And then if I get it working okay, then I'm going to put EvMux on it and see if I'm intelligent enough that we can use it. I like the way it looks. I just hope it's easy to figure out. Because then I could put somebody live up on screen. I could take a phone call. It's amazing what I could do with it. A couple of cameras. So, the goddamn tablet's going wacky again. It's getting old. It really, 15 years, I can't complain. Yeah, I got the emails. I'm in, I think. It looks like I'm in. There was a bar where I could type in and hit send, so I think I'm ready. Right at the time I had the Discord up on this computer is when the other one went bonkers on me, so I shut that down, and it's been one of them days. What else went haywire today? I ordered a stand for my other TV. Now, I put the big one together, and I have the big TV on the rolling stand. All I have to do is move a couple of things next to the dresser so I can. But I ordered a smaller stand for the 35-inch TV. Every kit comes with nuts and bolts. The bolts are missing. They're metric. I don't have any. So now tomorrow I got to go to the hardware store and get, I think they're M8s. M8 by I got it written down. The whole thing, now the box was sealed. The package with all the little accessory pieces is there. Sealed. Pocket 1, washers. Okay. Pocket 2 has a couple of tools, a wrench and a hex wrench. Pocket 3 has some plastic fiber washers, spacers. Pocket 4 says bolts. Empty. Factory sealed. Empty. I'm like, how am I going to put this together with no bolts? All the the bolts for the mounting arms are there. The bolts to mount the mounting arms to the base are there. The bolts to mount the bars that go on the back of the TV, none. I've never had one of these type stands. Usually you have that plate that mounts on the back of the TV and the plate mounts on a single bar. Not this one. It's got two bars that come up and then 2 arms. And then you have 2 long rails that mount on the back of the TV that have like hooks that hook into the rails. The bolts to mount to the back of the TV, empty. Factory sealed, empty. Everything else is there. The one pouch in the middle, because it's a long strip. You got all these little pouches. It's written on there, M8 or M10 or some shit like that by whatever. There's not a bolt in the pocket. It don't do any good writing them, because by the time they would send them, I'll just go to the hardware store, buy them, get it over with. Almost as bad as me attempting to do business with Jenny on eBay. She had an Elvis album, which I discovered today I didn't have that one. Figures. So I says to her, I says, anybody show any interest? Nope. I says, okay. I was planning on either buying it today or tomorrow because I had to go through my albums. Sold. Somebody bought it right out from underneath me. Probably a subscriber screwing with me. I'll see it on eBay next week, or the week after. My pillows finally arrived. Jenny's here. I don't know what was going on with FedEx. Although, of all carriers, that would be the last one I would ever use. Because, although we must have a new route person, because so far every FedEx package has been right where I want them delivered, by the side door. It was supposed to be here Friday. Back up. Monday, it says shipped. Picked up by carrier. Tuesday, on the way. Wednesday, weather delay. Weather delay? I've never seen weather delay. Finally, Thursday, on the way. It says, delivery, Friday, by 7 p.m. Friday comes and goes, no pillows. Then, yesterday morning, delivery by 7 p.m. 7 p.m. hits, no pillows. This morning, delivery by 7 p.m. 12:02 pillows. I'm like, God damn, you finally delivered the bastards. I have discovered what the difference between American hotel pillows and the British hotel pillows is. British hotel pillows are giant marshmallows. Let me get the mic out of the way here. Well, that way. There is the official. Let me get it out of the way. There we go. Hotel pillows, star rated, eSun card, British style. They're giant marshmallows. I cut a hole in the bag so they would inflate. I need 6 of these to sleep on. Now I know what the difference is. My Hilton pillows are, oh God, they gotta be 10 inches. But when I lay my head on them, they go like, who can sleep on pillows with no support? Now, maybe I'm the oddball. I need pillows with support, like concrete blocks. The Hilton pillows are beautiful to look at, not to sleep on. I mean, when they're on the bed, they look like 24 inches tall when you got one on top of another. Lay down on them, they wrapped right around my head. So what I did was I took my 2 orthopedic pillows and then I put a Hilton on top of it. So I had some support. The other Hilton is on the other side of the bed. So it looks like what I'll end up doing is putting the 2 orthopedic pillows and then the 2 British pillows. I was hoping that they would be a little on the firm side. See, that's part of the problem with most of these pillows on Temu. They don't say soft, medium, firm. It just says pillow. So far, the only ones that work for me are the two orthopedics. And I'm thinking of ordering two more because I found them on sale again. Because I need a lot of support, especially since I got that fusion. I, I just need something firm. So at least we know the difference between American Hotel and British. American Hotel, Hilton pillows this thick, compressed to this thick. British pillows this thick, compressed to this thick. But at least they say British Hotel pillow. I'm going to show my friends, look what I got from Britain. I'm going to tell everybody, a friend of mine stole me two British pillows and sent them to me. It sounds good. You have stolen British hotel pillows? Here, look. I think the crest really is impressive. It ain't like nothing I've seen come out of Buckingham Palace, but yeah, you have to be different. I was hoping they would have more support. Hey, for $8.80 on sale for the pair, I'm not going to complain. I can mix and match. And it looks impressive with the big crest on there. Approved by King Charles. I wish it said approved by King William. I really thought he would step down. I really figured that he would do it for a short amount of time just to say I was king. And then he would, especially when he got diagnosed with cancer, I figured for sure he would hand it off to William. Because I'll tell you what, I don't know what the opinion is over there. I think William would be great for the monarchy. He would inject fresh blood, make changes. Some people are tired of the monarchy. I think he would be wonderful. Of course, one American's opinion, but and his wife, everybody loves her. Oh my God. And then you got, Camilla. Well, either way. Oh, I don't know what he sees in her. Oh my God. She puts the ugh in ugly. I heard that they don't have any mirrors in the palace. Because every time she looks in one, it breaks. Sorry. Sick joke. I heard when she was a little kid, the only way they would get her dog to play with her is they tied a pork chop around her neck. Okay, sick joke number 2. Should we go for 3? I said it back when he got caught cheating. What in God's green earth did he see in her? Yeah, well, that's the unfortunate thing. I I hate to say it. I bet you he couldn't wait for his mother to pass. Every birthday he was like, God damn it. Is she going to live forever? And she almost did. Yeah, unfortunately, I think he's going to hang on to that for as long as he can. I really do. Because he's wanted it for so long. I wouldn't doubt if he was figuring out ways to bump off his mother, you know. But if if he would really listen to reason, he's too goddamn old. The monarchy needs a change. It needs someone like William. Because the monarchy doesn't have a big approval rate over there. As a matter of fact, we here in America are more interested in the monarchy than the British people are. We follow it more than they do. But unless he gets seriously ill, which it don't look like it, I don't see him stepping down, but he should. He should maybe, at the end of this year go, okay, I had my 2 years or 3 years. I don't have a big approval rating. Here, William, you take it. I know they would rather see, a new queen. Yeah. I'm waiting for the invasion. I really am. Waiting to see the headlines. Trump invades Canada. I wouldn't put it past him. Oh my God. Some of the wacky shit I'll tell you what, he doesn't think he's president. He thinks he's king. He really does. Every day, a different executive order, And, God, he's pissing everybody off. I heard the other day, France wants the Statue of Liberty back. He's pissed them off to the point they said, hey, we gave it to you, we're taking it back. And now he wants to screw with the post office. Although, I'll tell you what, somebody got to give old Elon the boot. He's as bad as Trump. Him with his Department of, what the hell is it? Government efficiency. Oh, let's fire everybody. You can't take every government department and cut it by 50%. It ain't going to work. And then, look at all the unemployment he's creating. I don't understand what's going through. And, they said Biden was losing it. I better watch what I say. Next thing I know, this goddamn CIA and the Secret Service will be knocking my door down. You said something against the president. Assume the position. You can't trust anything that, you know. That's why you gotta watch what the hell you say on social media. I'll be getting in trouble next. The FBI will be at the door. Step out. I just don't understand. Now, the Department of Education. I somewhat agree. Each state should run its own schools. Who knows better about the education of youth but the state itself? The state monitors the schools. They know where they need to improve. They know what needs to be changed. Unfortunately, when you're getting federal money, you have to kind of bow down. But I really think every state should run its own school system. My opinion. A lot of people might not agree, especially the ones that are getting fired from the Department of Education, but I really do. Who knows better than the state itself? They're monitoring their schools, they're monitoring their teachers, they're monitoring the curriculums. Why should the federal government say, you will study this, you won't study that, this is going to work, that's not going to work? You know, the school system knows what it needs. Right, that's what I say, it's about the funding. When you're getting federal money, the federal government is going to tell you how to spend that money. Here, we're going to give you $2 million, but you can't spend it on, you know, projectors and computers. You're going to spend it on desks and chairs. Hey, I've been out of school so long, I don't know what's going on. All I know is, like, my alma mater, which is about a stone's throw from me, is nowhere what it was when I graduated. They don't have a marching band, they don't have an orchestra, they don't have a chorus, a glee club. If a kid wants to play an instrument, he has to go to a special school. Instead of having a music class at the school you're at, and you're with your friends, if you want to play a clarinet, well, you can't be with your friends. You have to go downtown Cleveland to the School of Music. It don't make no sense. I mean, I started playing instruments when I was in grade school because we always had music classes. I started with a violin. And from violin, I went to tenor saxophone. I played clarinet. I played organ. I played accordion. I tried my luck at trombone, but I didn't have I couldn't get my lips to work. You don't play trombone with the. I thought, you blew into it, and the slide could. No, you have to. You play it with your lips. I could never get my lips to cooperate. The upper one didn't want to cooperate with the lower one, so those instruments were out. Trombone, trumpet, French horn, up. That's a weird instrument. You not only play it with your lips, but you got to play it with your hand shoved up the horn to make certain sound. And that's like one of the girls that I dated, she played oboe. That's a tough instrument. I tried that one. With a clarinet or saxophone, you got a single reed. With an oboe, you got a reed about like this, and it's a double. And hard to explain, but very hard instrument to play. I never heard of the Suzuki method. Although I used to really piss my music teacher off because I played it country western style at times. Put it on my knee. That's not the way you play violin. Well, on hee-haw, they play it that way. This ain't hee-haw. Put under your chin. Okay. I always thought that was kind of neat. I wish I would have kept up with at least the accordion, because I've got my grandfather's. One of these days I'll show it off. I mean, it's a beautiful instrument. Of course, it's, back from the 1900s. Custom inlaid ivory on it. Beautiful. And I'll tell you what, it still plays. I don't know how in tune it is, but when I go up and down the keyboard, all the notes still play and all the buttons. I quit playing it shortly after, I got married in the early 70s, and, well, I played it up until like the mid 70s, and then I stopped because the group I was with, we all broke up and went our different ways. Because we used to meet at, oh God, what the hell was the name of the place on Brook Park Road in Parma? One night was like disco, and then one night was like square dancing, and one night was polka night. And the four of us were a polka group. And it was cool because I had the oldest accordion out of the four of us. And even though I didn't want to be like the main guy, they always would put the spotlight on me because I had that old antique accordion. That is an instrument I would love to learn how to play, a banjo. I love the sound of a banjo. But you play it with, you got to pick at the thing. And My buddy's grandfather played banjo. Man, I'll tell you what, he could rock that thing. And my grandmother, my mother's mother, she could play honky tonk piano because she used to play in the speakeasies. And she could make that piano rock. Matter of fact, she'd stand up and play it. Man, she beat them keys. Matter of fact, before they retired out to California, my grandmother had one of them big uprights out of one of the frickin' bars. It was an antique. It weighed about as much as a semi. Oh my God. That, of course, it was made back like in 1899 or something when they made them out of real wood. I'll never forget when she sold it. The piano movers came in and they were like, oh shit, we didn't bring the right equipment. We'll have to come back tomorrow. They put it on a roller and it broke the frickin' roller. The guy says, how heavy is this thing? Heavy enough that you didn't bring the right equipment. And it had on the ends, God, the stains from the beer mugs that were set on the damn piano across the top was all rings from glasses and mugs. And she would never restore it. She was like, that's the way I got it out of the bar. That's the way I'm keeping it. Now, the only interesting thing about wife number 4, she had a grand player piano. This thing took up half the living room, and it was a player. I loved it because I found a place in downtown Cleveland that sold piano rolls. And I went down and I bought a shitload of them. And every night, I put a different piano roll in and turn the piano on, and it'd be playing itself. I love that piano more than her. Matter of fact, I wish I could have had the piano. Yeah, it was a grand. It was huge. Because when they moved it from her house to the house we bought, they had to retune it. And some of the player equipment had gotten broken in the move, and they had to special make some of the shit for it because it was not only a big grand, it was an antique. But once they got it working, it was neat. I loved that piano. And for the longest time, the neighbors thought I could play because I'd be sitting, but you couldn't see me at the keys. It was kind of turned. So they saw the ass end of it with the open lid and me sitting behind it. And I'd be moving my arms, And then one of the kids found out in the neighborhood. They were like, he's not really playing that. Believe it or not, the house that we had bought was built like I think it was like 1915 or something like that. You should, yeah, the main beams across the main floor in the basement. Oh, they were huge. So it withstood that piano, because that was another thing the piano movers, said. We're going to have to brace the floors underneath. And they went down in the basement and they went, nope, we don't have to worry about this. But we had to, I want to say it was 3-inch. We had to get 3-inch thick. I can't remember, it was maple. We had to get three sections of wood to set the piano on in the living room, so we didn't destroy the carpet, because we had new carpeting put in before we moved in. So I had to go to the homeless depot, and what the hell was it? 2x12s. Yeah, I had to buy a 2x12 and then cut it into, I think they were 12-inch squares to set the piano on, so it didn't go through the new carpet and whatever. All I knew was I loved that piano. And then the dining room set that she had. Oh my God. It came from Japan. And it had a glass top. And the whole inside of the table was carving. I'm trying to think. It was like villages, because the table was about this deep, and it had a glass top over it, and inside was like carvings of Japanese villages. It was the most unique thing I'd ever seen. And then on the back, how many chairs did it have? 12? I think it had 12 chairs. And on the back of each chair, I just took everybody's word for it, were Japanese carvings. And each chair, it told a story. You went from chair 1 to 12 and it told some kind of story. The goddamn, it was like a $30,000 or $40,000 goddamn table that her husband had acquired somehow. We rarely used it. God, she'd have a shit fit if somebody walked by it. We used it for like Easter and Christmas, and then God forbid that somebody spills something like. But we ordered special oriental carpet for the dining room to go with the table. I don't want to tell you how expensive that carpet was. Had to get a special installer for it because a normal carpet installer couldn't install this carpet for a room that we used like 3 or 4 times a year. I had very little say-so in that department because the piano room had a certain carpet, and the living room had a certain carpet, and the dining room had a certain carpet, and each room was divided with marble. So you would step from one room to the next room. The only say-so I had was the kitchen. Because I got me one of them, what the hell make was that stove? You could barbecue in the house. It vented outside, which was great in the winter. I'd be barbecuing steaks, and all the neighbors would be like, who's cooking outside? I can't remember what make the stove was, but in the center of the stove was a barbecue. And it vented. It was kind of neat because it kind of pulled the smoke over the meat and then vented it outside. I was allowed to buy that stove. And the refrigerator to match, big double door. It looked like one of those, what the hell is it? Something zero, sub-zero, or them industrial refrigerators. Those are the only two things I was able to have my way. The stove and the fridge. Everything else, it was like living in a fucking museum. You know, I hate living in a house where you had to be careful of everything you did, you know. God forbid, you know. Oh, I couldn't take a cup of coffee in the living room and watch TV. Oh, God forbid, maybe I'd spill some on the carpet. Then everybody wonders why, after 2 years, I was like, that's it, I'm done. I need my sanity. Besides the way she slept at night. We've gone over that. God, I remember one day I forgot, you know, I'm watching TV, I walk in the living room, I got a cup in my hand. Christ, you'd think I committed a murder. And then everybody wonders why I'm the way I am. Oh, trivia time. Okay. Let me know how you do. Oh, and I did get to have a lazy boy recliner. But I couldn't take it with me when I left. Because we had a pair. They were identical. Wouldn't have missed one. No, you can't take it with you. Oh, no. Oh, no. I'm lucky I got out with my goddamn underwear, that deal. Didn't even get my goddamn tool cabinets. Because I didn't move everything in one day. Well, I didn't have help with I come back the second day, she called the police. He was supposed to have this out yesterday. I said, I needed a trailer for the tool cabinets. Well, that was your problem. Sorry. I argued it in court, and it wasn't worth it. I was just glad to be out. With what little sanity I had left. Oh, I argued that. There was no way I could get, like, all of my personal stuff and my tools. I mean, at least I got my stereo. Oh my God. That was the first thing I moved out. The help that I had, they were grabbing clothes, and I said, fuck the clothes, grab the stereo. The goddamn stereo was priceless to me. Especially the speakers. They were 1 year only. And what I went through to get them. Oh. If that store manager's alive today, I bet you he's still pissed. That goddamn grumpy. Took my display speakers. Well, I paid for them. Wasn't like I stole them. I just didn't want to wait 2 more months. He had the Mach 1 speakers. I had them on order. They were in the store. I just waited till he went to lunch. I bet you he fired the kid. I feel sorry about that. I never went back to that Radio Shack ever again. But I bet you he fired the kid. Because I waited till he went to lunch. He pulled out of the parking lot, and I walked in like I didn't know nothing. Wandered around the corner of the store and went, "You got the Mach 1 speakers?" He said, "Yeah, we..." And the boxes were still there. I said, "I'm on them." He goes, "Well, they're expensive." I said, I know. I got the money right here. Give me my receipt. Help me box them. Can you help me carry them out in the car? Put them in the car. I left. Manager come back from lunch. My phone was ringing. "Bring them speakers back. Those are my displays." Too late. I paid for them. I have a recipe. He says, "I know. That's how I got your phone number. Bring them speakers back." No. They're already hooked up. They weren't even out of the box yet. I told them, yeah, they're already hooked up. Yeah, Radio Shack. Mach 1 speakers. Liquid cooled 16-inch woofers. With a big trumpet mid-range and little tweeters. You can adjust them. I can adjust the sound with... Oh, and real cherry wood cabinets. They weigh a ton. I need a 2-wheel dolly to move one. That's how heavy they are. And I'll tell you what, to this day, they sound beautiful. If I could remember how to wire my stereo. At least they did sound wonderful. Radio Shack had a problem. The original foam that goes around the speaker was defective. and it dried out. And the front screens are removable so that you can clean the speakers and that. And one day I removed the screen and I was playing and the speaker was going wonky, and I noticed the goddamn foam was cracking. I was like, holy shit. So I found a stereo shop that refoamed the speakers, which is a bitch of a job. Believe me, you gotta be a specialist to do that kind of work. And he was able to get his hands on the replacement foam that Radio Shack was using on the production of the speakers after they discovered they were using shitty foam. That was, I want to say, like 1985. To this day, that foam is soft and pliable, and them speakers just fluctuate the way they're supposed to. I went into heart failure when I saw them falling apart. I was like, oh no. And the guy he didn't charge that much to fix them. I was quite surprised. Matter of fact, he offered to buy them after he fixed them. I said, oh, no. After what I went through to get them, no way. And they're sitting in my bedroom, unwired. Well, the component system. See, I know where I can get a diagram. The problem is, I'm cheap. And I don't want to pay for it. Because there is a stereo shop in Lakewood that specializes in antique and collectible equipment. Oh, he's got some gorgeous stuff. He wants like $75 for a diagram, which I might end up paying because I can't remember how to wire the goddamn thing. Because I've got so many components. You know, I've got the tuner, which is the amp. It's the main item. And then the turntable is easy because on the back of the tuner it says phono, 2 plugs. Okay. But then I've got the cassette player and the CD player and the equalizer and the reverberator, and there's one item missing. Whatever. I can't remember how to wire all that because it goes in succession, you know. I should have taken a picture. God, I must have 10 cameras. You think I'd have been smart enough to take pictures? No. I just pulled all the cables. And then my mistake. I disconnected everything. And it sat for about a month before I started to clean everything. And by the time I cleaned every connection on the back of each component and cleaned each connection on each cable, I forgot how to put it back together. Now, what I'm thinking of doing, the only component that I don't have that I had back in the 70s was a reel to reel tape deck. Now I've got several reels of music. I know he has some reel to reel tape decks. If I negotiate on a reel to reel tape deck and tell him, hey, I need a diagram, maybe he'll say, okay, here's a diagram. Because, see, my dumb ass, I sold it. Out of all the components, I sold the reel to reel because it was kind of a pain in the ass. But I still have a couple of boxes of tapes with music that I can't get anymore because it was some groups that I had recorded. So that's in the thinking stage. I'll tell you what, when that stereo is working, oh God. And I love to play my music at concert pitch. I vibrate pictures off the wall, you know. The neighbors 5 houses down can hear it. But there's nothing sweeter than playing a 33 like, let's say, the Blue Danube Waltz at concert pitch out of them Mach 1 speakers. You'd think Leonard Bernstein was directing the New York Philharmonic in my bedroom. Everybody's like, who? That's going back many, many years. Leonard Bernstein was a very famous conductor. Well, yeah, a lot of people don't agree, but that's, and the equalizer that I've got is out of a sound studio, where a normal equalizer is like maybe 12 octaves per side. Mine is 33 per side. I mean, I can adjust mine down where you can hear the guy hitting the triangle, you know, ding. I could spend probably easily an hour adjusting each side, because you adjust one octave and then you go over on the right side and you adjust the octave, then the left side the next octave, and the right side, and you do that 33 times, back and forth. And then you listen out of each speaker. Okay, oh, this one needs a little bit more. There we go. And then when it's all adjusted, you don't let nobody near it. Don't you bump a lever. Get away from my equalizer. Yeah, same thing with the cassette deck. It came out of the same recording studio. So it's really professional grade. But you know, back in the 70s, man, I was a real audiophile. Holy Christ. I must have had 1,033s and probably 445s. Then over the years, I kind of thinned the collection down, because there was too much shit to move. Jesus Christ. Milk crates full of albums. And you know, milk crate full of albums is fucking heavy. You pick up 133, you go, oh, it don't weigh that much. Yeah. Put them in a milk crate and then try to pick it up. One day, I'll have it all together. I'll be playing it again. I can't wait. I miss hearing them Mach 1 speakers. I had to get a special insurance policy for the component system and the speakers because when I told the guy what it was worth, he said, oh, we can't put that on the house policy. We have to write a special addendum policy. I think just to get more money out of me. But the problem is, you can't replace any of that shit. I mean, you can, but by the time you know, and the reverberator, I've never seen. I have yet to find one on eBay. Every now and then I look. And a reverberator is an echo chamber, you know. They were big back in the 70s. And then they didn't sell that well because people didn't understand how to use them. But it is cool when you take and you add just a touch of echo chamber to the music. Very interesting sound. Matter of fact, I bought it by accident because I didn't even know they made them. And I said to the guy one day, what the hell's that? Well, it's a reverberation amplifier. Okay, what is it? It's a reverberation amplifier. Speak English. It's an echo chamber. Oh, I want one. Do you have one in stock? No? What about this one? Well, that's the display. How soon can you get another one? 2 months? Oh, come on. Give me that one. What's a display? I want it. It's the display. All right, I'll wait 2 months. And then I called them every day. Is it in yet? Is it in yet? Is it in yet? It is? I'll be right there. I think I left burn patches from my tires going to the music store. And then I brought it home and hooked it up. Yahoo! You can go overboard with it, though. You can put too much echo in it, and it'll blow your eardrums out. I wonder how trivia is going. Nomad, you still hanging in here? Did you guys have a time change recently? I thought I heard something about a time change. I thought all the times changed like the same day. Or is somebody pulling my leg? They said they had daylight savings time. I was like, kind of late for daylight savings time. Shit, we did ours eons ago. Did you really? So my buddy told me right. I thought he was screwing with me. Because he's got a relative that lives over in, oh my God, it's a weird little town. I want to, like Wetlock or something. What the hell did he? It's a weird little town. Only like 3,000 people. Wetwood, Lockwood, no. I could have swore it started with a W. Shit, what the hell was the name of that? Wetwood, Wetlock. It started with a W. I wish I knew what area of England. Or no. No, that's not the. No. Oh, God, I'm going brain dead. That wasn't the W. No. Oh, it'll come to me. Yeah, no, it started with a W. Does Wetlock sound familiar? Wetwood, what? What? I could have swore he said Wetlock, but that don't sound right now. Or is that where his cousin works? No, I'm back up. God, we were just talking about it yesterday. Because he told me that they had daylight savings time, and I said, it's kind of late for daylight savings time, but I keep forgetting you're across the pond. Cheshire. He lives in Cheshire. Why didn't I think of that? It's a damn cat. Cheshire. Whatever. Cheshire. I think that's how you pronounce it. He lives in Cheshire. And he works in some town with a W. I'm going to have to find out what the hell town it is. I thought he said Wetlock, but I was only kind of half listening because his wife was talking. But he lives in Cheshire. How big a town is Cheshire? Is that about 4,000 people, something like that? I'm going to have to find out what the hell. The wet something. Wet what? Watley? No. I'll call him. All I know is, yeah, he lives in Cheshire. Cheshire, England. How big is it? Like a small cozy little town. I know most of them are. Anytime I watch, like, motorway cops and that, they're always mentioning, oh, this is a little cozy little village. Matter of fact, I was watching last night. It wasn't motorway cops, though. But it was something like that. Because I love watching British police programs. Because I noticed it said 2025, so it was all new. But I can't remember the name of the show. It wasn't Motorway Cops. But it was a new version. Because last night was a lot of motorcycle accidents. Oh, what the hell's the big motorcycle meet? Oh, shit. Because I was thinking, it's amazing you guys have a motorcycle meet that is similar to our Sturgis for Harleys. And you start out like at one end of the country and then you motor down to whatever this area is, like down by the bay or by the sea or something. But they get like 10,000 goddamn motorcyclists. Because there's a famous cafe or restaurant where this thing started. Because it was amazing to see the goddamn motorcycles wherever they ended up was like, for as far as the eye could see, motorcycles. I was like, holy shit, I didn't know they had that many motorcyclists in Britain. But it's a once a year meet. But they start out like here, and then they motor down to here. And I can't remember if the starting point is this famous restaurant or cafe or bar, or where they end up. But where they end up is like down by the sea. I was impressed. Man. Because when they start, I know it pisses the cops off because it ties up traffic and everything. Going down the motorway, it's just motorcycle after motorcycle as far as the eye can see. I did not realize that Britain had that big of a biking community. I was impressed. Matter of fact, it was hilarious. An American couple got stopped. They rented a bike. And the guy's wife didn't have a helmet. And they chased him down. And she said, well, we live in Pennsylvania. We don't have a helmet law. Helmets are optional. And they said, well, not here, lady. And they wrote her a fucking ticket for not wearing a helmet. But he rented a bike so that he could run this motorcycle meet. And it was a riot because they were going the other way, And it shows the camera in the car. And the cop's partner went, hey! They don't have a helmet on. Fucking spun around in the middle of the street, chased them down. And she's like, what's the big deal? we don't wear them in Pennsylvania. The one police officer said, this ain't Pennsylvania. You're getting a ticket. She tried to talk her way out. And her husband tried to talk her way out of the ticket. And they said, no. And then, where they rented the motorcycle, I'm learning a lot about Britain. They photocopied what they call it, tax disc. And it was in with the motorcycle rental paperwork. And they thought the couple did it. And he said, no, we got the bike this way. So they called the motorcycle rental place. And the rental place said, well, we've had so many of them stolen that we keep the original here and we photocopy it to go with the bike paperwork. And I guess they could get arrested for that. So it was a real learning this tax disc. I guess it's similar to like our registration stickers. I mean, we get our registration annually and you get a sticker. Well, you guys got a disc. I was like, wow. Learn something every day. And then another thing that really shocked me, we go to the BMV to get our license plates. You guys go to a shop and have them made. You get a number from, I'll say, the BMV. They give you your license number, and then you go to a shop that makes them. And they're plastic. And they stick on. Ours are metal and they bolt on. But we go to when you renew your registration, they give you a license plate. Over there, they give you a number. Oh, really? So you don't go to a shop and get them made? You order them online, huh? Well, this must have been a while back then, because one of the motorcycles, the license plate broke off, and they stopped them on the motorway, and they told them, they said, hey, you can't go no farther without a license plate. And one of his buddies says, well, what if I ride into town? I know a shop that'll make me one and we'll bring it back. And the police said, okay. And his buddy took off, and about an hour later he come back with a nice brand new license plate. And they affixed it to the bike, and he went on his way. I was like, plastic license plates? Stick on? Ours are metal, bolt on. Well, see, I renew mine online. I hate standing in line at the license bureau. So I order my sticker online. As a matter of fact, I haven't put mine on the RAV4 yet. There it is. My new sticker for the RAV4. I gotta put it on one day. come in the mail. See, that's our registration stickers. Every November on my birthday, I have to renew my registration. And my handicap parking placard. That's for the RAV4. That's why it's sitting on my desk. So now you see what our American stuff looks like. And every state is the same way. You get a sticker. Now, some states do an inspection, and you have to have the sticker in your windshield for the inspection. And in order to get your plate sticker, you got to pass inspection. Ohio has, some states inspect the whole car. They check the brakes, they do this. In Ohio, it's basically an emissions test. And they plug into under your dash. They hook the computer up and it does the diagnostics. But see, I don't have to go through that bullshit. Because any vehicle over 25 years old is exempt. So I don't need an inspection. And that's why I will not own anything newer than a vehicle that's 25 years old. Yeah, I wish I could remember the name of it. But it's really an old place. And I guess this bike meet originated there. And every biker in Britain meets there once a year for this annual bike run. It was quite interesting. It really was. Because they start at one place and then they motor down to the stopping point and have a big party. But it was amazing. I mean, the photographer that was doing the story had a drone, and there had to be 10,000 motorcycles. It was unbelievable. I was blown away. I was just blown away. But I'll tell you one thing. The cops don't take no shit off of nobody. There was one guy, as a matter of fact, they're sneaky. They have unmarked motorcycle, and it's got a camera mounted on it. And then it looks like a backpack on the back of the seat, but it's a DVR. And the helmet has got a real dark black visor and it covers up police. And he's following these bikers doing a bunch of illegal bullshit, recording. And he radios ahead, and they stopped him. And the guys were like, what kind of proof have you got that I was riding on my back wheel, showing off? And the cop went, I was behind you. Would you like to see it on film, on video? And then he unzips a backpack and he flips the screen open and he shows the guy. And the cop was behind him and the guy was doing wheel stands down the motorway. I was like, wow, that's sneaky. But it was just a regular motorcycle that was capable of doing 150 miles an hour. A real souped up bike. But they showed the camera mounted on the edge of the handlebar, and you couldn't even see it, which I know why, but it filmed these guys. They were going 90 miles an hour on the rear wheel. Talk about begging to get killed. And one guy run, and he put the bike down, and then his buddy had picked the front wheel off at the ground, and it was all being filmed by the unmarked motorcycle behind him. I enjoyed watching that program last night, but I wish I could remember the title of the program. It's a series, like Motorway Cops. I loved watching Motorway Cops. But this is like a version of Motorway Cops, but the name of the program wasn't Motorway Cops. But it said, all new 2025. I was like, oh, cool. I get the BBC channel. Every now and then I'll get some British programs. I watched a comedy one not that long ago. Oh my God, I loved it. There were two guys, it's a ways back. Did you ever hear of the comedy team called the Two Ronnies? You can pull it up on YouTube if you put in the Two Ronnies. I don't remember what, it's a while back. And they do a routine that is utterly hilarious. And it takes place like in a grocery store. And the one old guy comes in and the clerk says, "Can I help you?" And he opens his like daytimer and he reaches in his pocket and he pulls out an apple and he said, "My apple's frozen." And the clerk looks at it and he goes, "Yep, it is." And he throws it behind him. And he goes, "That's my apple." And there's several trays of different kinds of apples behind him, and he goes, well, hell, apples come out with, 5 different versions since that one. And just the routine is a riot. Because at the end, the guy says, do you have something that would interest my grandson for his birthday? And the clerk goes, well, I don't know what's so special about this, but he goes, we got this thing called, and he picks up a carton of eggs box. And then on the top of it, it's $3.60. And it looks like £3 60 pence. You got to watch the routine. Believe me, I've screwed it up. But it's the two Ronnies. And those guys are hilarious. They're better than some of the goddamn American comedians from back in the day. But I know it's on YouTube because every now and then I'll watch that routine. Whoop. Goddamn, I keep wanting to light the goddamn filters. But I can't remember. Oh, it's got to be maybe the 80s or 90s for those guys. They're probably dead and gone by now, but they talk about the greatest two, the perfect comedy team. And I'll say it, the kind of odd British humor. Because I love British humor, because it's a little on the dry side. If you're not following a joke, you won't get it. Like my humor. If you're not following it, you won't get it. But every now and then when I tune into the BBC channel, I'll get, oh, what the hell was that soap opera? Oh my God. What the hell was that? God, it was a famous soap opera. Like an evening soap opera. Oh, Christ. I'm brain dead. I want to say it started with a D. It was quite famous one. I mean, everybody, like, in Britain watched it. I can't think of it. I watched it about a week ago because it happened to be on the BBC channel. I got to start writing this shit down. Although I didn't think I'd be talking about it. I'm drawing a complete blank on what the hell the name of that goddamn evening soap opera was. Can't think of it. Can't think of it. Oh, I'll check that one out, Nomad. I'll check that one out for sure. God, I can't think of that goddamn. And it was a series. Probably not something that was your viewing pleasure. It started with a D. Oh my God, my brain is fried. Downton Abbey or something like that. Downton Abbey. Downton Abbey. Something like that. Downton Abbey, I want to say. Does that ring a bell? It was Abbey something. Downton. It started with a D. Downton Abbey. Downton Abbey. Yeah. That's it, Kathy. You got it. Downton Abbey. It looked, it looked like a takeoff of like our Peyton Place or something, but with a British twist to it. I watched whenever I could catch it because it wasn't on the same night here and the same time, and maybe Tuesday one week I would catch it, and then Thursday the next week I would catch it. It wasn't like I could tune in like right at 7 o'clock, and because the BBC channel that we get over here isn't regular programming. Because I would have to go through, Downton Abbey is on Wednesday at 9, and then the next week it's on Thursday at 6. I enjoyed watching it. I didn't understand it, but because if you don't follow it weekly, you don't know what the hell's going on. And I'd watch one night and go, okay, I got to remember that for the next time. And then I would forget and I would miss a week and I'd be like, oh shit, now I missed what the hell the cliffhanger was. Again, you need some better team members. You guys keep losing. Well, at least it was fun. It's fun to say you lost. We lost, but it was fun. Okay. You didn't miss much. We were talking about Downton Abbey, the British evening soap opera. And I was talking about the police show, but I can't remember the title name of it. It wasn't Motorway Cops. But hopefully there'll be more of it tonight. I saved it in my memory on my TV. But I didn't save it in this memory here. I can't think of what the hell the name of it was. Because it was interesting last night. I always love it when there's an accident and one of the drivers takes off. Although this one crash, the idiot was dumb enough to come back. As one of the witnesses went, "There's the driver over there." And he kind of turned and the officer went, "Come here, we need to talk to you." Evidently, he figured the police would be gone by then. He'd come back and retrieve his car or something. If the BBC on demand costs money, I ain't buying it. I don't buy, like lately, they've been running a special where you could get Disney for $2.99 a month for like 6 months. And I think it was paired with Hulu, but I'm not sure. Well, I like some stuff on Disney, but I ain't paying. That's why I got rid of cable. Whatever I get free on my Roku or my other TV, great. But if you're going to charge me, forget it. I ain't paying. Because it never fails. I will forget to cancel. And then I get stuck. Because like with Disney, you know, at the end of the $2.99 special, you got like 30 days to cancel. Well, 9 times out of 10, I forget. And then it goes up to like $15.99 a month. And I'm like, God damn it. That's the one. Good. It's hilarious. Oh, absolutely hilarious. Like in one of the gigs, he goes, you know, we're getting the new iPod or something in 2 weeks, and he goes, well, will you give me a date? And he reaches under the counter, he gives him a fucking date, and he sticks the date in his day timer. I'm like, oh my God. And it's just that kind of humor. It's just hilarious. Yeah, that item won't be in for 2 weeks. Well, can you give me a date? Yeah, here. Fucking date. And he sticks it in the day timer and he sticks it in his pocket. Those two guys just are wonderful. They really are. The comedy routines. Oh, well. Yeah. I can't get it for free. I don't think your ex is going to let me tap into your cable. You know, I really thought I was going to miss cable. And in a way, I did, because there were like 5 programs I kept following that I couldn't follow anymore. One of them was The Amazing Dr. Pol, or The Incredible Dr. Pol. I loved watching that. I lost it. There were a couple others, you know. And yeah, I missed them. But you know, there's so much free shit on Roku that I really don't miss cable, because I got a hell of a variety. Oh, good. I get to use my Discord. This computer over here, as soon as I get another keyboard, is going to be for my Discord. That way I can work at this one and have it up and running over here. Because I'm kind of tired of watching eaglets. So I've got somewhere in the cabinet, I got another small keyboard. And I want to hook that with the, well, not because it's a small computer, it's because a smaller keyboard is easier for me to put over on the edge of the console. So as soon as I dig out the small keyboard and hook it, then I'll put my Discord up on this computer and I'll leave it run. And then I can work at this one. And if I want, I can watch eaglets on the computer I have over here on the shelf. I got a small, it's got 2 shelves on it. I can carry it around. I got the one computer on there with the monitor. My other curved screen is over on that one. Yeah, I got a 30-inch curved screen over there. And then I got my 40-inch curved screen in front of me. I love these curved screen monitors. A gaming monitor. Now that one over there is a Viatech. This one is an LG. And I'll tell you what, as much as I like the LG, the smaller Viatech actually has a kind of a more crisper picture. But I got the big one here, leave well enough alone. I really want to get, and they're too goddamn expensive, are those narrow, big monitors. They're about 45, 48 inches long, but they're maybe only like 10 inches high. I want to get one of them one day. But they're big bucks. Gaming monitor, yeah. You know, the reason I got hooked on Dr. Pol was I remember when I was young, my uncle had a farm. And I remember the vet coming out to the farm. And he opened the trunk and put on his overalls and put on his boots and go right back in the pen with whatever animal was sick, or like the one day the pig started to deliver piglets. And I'll never forget, he reached inside that pig about this far. He was pulling out little piglets and handing them to my uncle. My uncle, my aunt, they were shaking them and rubbing them. And as soon as they started eking, you know, okay, that one's good. Give me the next one. And it was cold as hell. You know, my uncle had a heat lamp set up. You know, I really wanted to go up and visit. But Wiedemann, Michigan is so far that I couldn't go there and back in a day. And I'm kind of odd about motel rooms, but I actually considered going up and visiting because he would just, and so down to earth. And his wife, too. I mean, they just perfect couple. Never argue, at least not on camera. But I don't think they ever did. I don't think Jan and Diane ever argued. I just got the impression that they just were the perfect couple. I really miss it. But you know, the typical, the viewership kind of dropped a little bit. And these goddamn, stations are so quick to cut a program. Oh, you've been on 15 seasons now and viewership's dropping, so we're going to drop it. Did you take into consideration the years that he was like the number one goddamn program drawing viewers just because the viewership dropped a little bit? Although there was one woman that she filed a goddamn malpractice suit. And that was another reason that kind of killed the program. Something about when he put down a horse and somebody put their 2 cents worth in and went, well, maybe you should have got a second opinion. Why? If anybody knew animals, it was Dr. Pole. But they didn't want no dirt. Oh, we got some dirt in the background here, a skeleton in a closet. They don't stop and think how much, money he made for that goddamn channel. But right away, as soon as the viewership drops, shit can it. I made sure I tuned in every night. Time for Dr. Pole. But it brought back memories of being on my uncle's farm. Because like summer vacation, I would spend all summer vacation out there. And I remember that vet showing up all hours of the day and night. Call the vet, he'd be there. Had all of his equipment in the trunk of his car. Out come the overalls, the boots, the gloves. Okay, I remembered something he had told me. It came back to me years later. And I kind of doubted it. I thought maybe he was bullshitting me. A vet should know what he's talking about. But they did a study. I found a university study online with piglets. The first nipple they go to is the one they always go to. And they showed in this study where they numbered all the piglets. And then, of course, they numbered all the nipples, and they would swap them around, and they would leave and fight to get back. They always, whether there was 8 or 18, they always went back to the first one that they latched onto as a newborn. And I thought, okay, mom lays down feeding time, everybody just, no. They know which one, and they will not go to another one. If they were number 3 and you swapped them around, they would go back to whatever. Amazing. You would think feeding time is feeding time. Nope. If they went to number 3, that piglet always went back to number 3, and no, they wouldn't. Like if number 4 decided he wanted to see if number 3 was better, nope. Almost like up in Antarctica, you got 10,000 penguins, and each mother knows her chicklet. They go out, get fish, come back, walk through them 10,000 goddamn little ones and go, well, here's mine. How the hell do they know? But they know. Amazing. I think Dr. Pohl did a thing on that too, if I remember right. Because 4-H, there was a 4-H group, and he explained that to them, and he showed them. He goes, now watch, and he numbered, and then they put all the piglets down, and they all went, and he says, all right, now swap them around. And the kids were grabbing them and moving them, and you learned a lot from Dr. Pohl watching the program. Same thing with a newborn foal. Let me think. What the hell was it with the newborn foal now? Oh God, I can't think of what the hell. There was something you did with a newborn foal. Something to get a foal to recognize the owner. He told them, like, you stick your fingers in their nose and in their ears and in their mouth, and I know it was something about, I'm going to have to research that one. Something about, maybe I'm going to have to see if I can find a rerun. But it was amazing that, he did things the old way. And it was amazing. Like, he would get a new doctor, fresh graduate out of medical school, and they would say, okay, well, we were taught this in school. And he goes, no, 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 we do it this way. And it was amazing how they learned from each other. He learned what the new techniques were, but he said, this is tried and true and proven. I loved watching that program. That was one of the ones I missed when I shit can cable, was mainly watching Dr. Pol. Not to mention Dr. Pol had a DeLorean. That I thought was cool. The day he pulled that out of the garage, I was like, God damn. Dr. Pol owns a DeLorean. But he was just so down to earth. And he had time for everyone. It was just a great program to watch for people of all ages. I was sad to see it go when I shit canned cable, but then I heard that, what was it, National Geographic shit canned him. It's all about the fucking money. Oh, you're losing viewership. Well, that's it. The end of the season, we're done. That's why I could never run a TV station. I'd be like, hey, I like that. Well, it ain't making us no money. Too bad. I like it. We're keeping it. Well, you can watch it in reruns. That bullshit. But I have yet to watch everything on Roku. There are so many, and they keep adding channels that I can't keep up with it. Because every channel has a multitude of programs, and it's all for free. Why should I pay? As much as, But see, like Hulu and what the hell are some of the other ones? Netflix and that. I'm not into that stuff. So, what I've got for free satisfies me. And I'm cheap. Plain and simple, I'm cheap. I ain't paying no more. God, cable was killing me. Old AT&T, it was like every 6 months. Price increase, price increase, price increase. God, what the hell was I paying? Almost $80 a month, and I didn't even have deluxe. And a lot of the channels I wasn't even watching. I was like, I got 100 channels and I'm watching like maybe 10. I was bitching and bitching about the cost of cable, and For Christmas, my son gave me a Roku box. And I was like, what the hell's a Roku box? And I started watching. I was like, and then when the TV went out, I got me a Roku TV. And mainly, I tune into YouTube because I love my goddamn murder programs. And they run a wealth of them on YouTube. So I'm quite satisfied every night. I tune into another murder mystery. Last night, I don't know how I got on the British channel, but I loved watching that motorcycle meet. That was amazing. I'm going to have to find out what the name of that program is. Hopefully, I can catch one tonight. Now write it down so I don't forget. I know it wasn't Motorway Cops. It was a different. And then there's another one I've been watching. A Murder in My Village. Yeah, A Murder in My Village. I love watching that one because it all takes place over in Britain. And it's a different murder mystery every segment. But it's called A Murder in My Village. I think that one's outstanding. I really like it. So if you're channel surfing some night on YouTube, look for A Murder in My Village. If you're into murder mysteries, you'll love it because you get to see the British way of investigating, which is a lot different than over here. They're more precise over there. Oh, especially their forensics teams. Holy shit. Not everybody is big on murder mysteries, but me. I love watching them. But they like I say, on YouTube, the free, well, if you got pay, I don't have pay YouTube. A Murder in My Village. Neat. And with that, I think it's time to make a murder for my dinner. If the tablet will cooperate. It went haywire. All the settings changed. That's why it was making so much noise. Every now and then you'd hear that ding, ding, ding in the background. It went to the old settings. I try to shut that shit off. I gotta quit complaining about this thing. I've got more than enough life out of it. But I think it's outro time. We know where, right here, WDWL TV, 7 p.m. And we will meet again tomorrow night. Thanks for everybody for being here. It was fun again. I really look forward to 7 p.m. now. And we will see you again tomorrow night.